Struggling with ideas for your church's social media pages?
Try these 15 posts this summer.
No fancy gear needed. Even better, these posts are all proven winners.
Let's dive in.
Well, hey there, and welcome to the Pro Church Tools Show. We're here to help you and your church navigate the biggest communication shift in 500 years. I'm Brady Shearer, your host. I'm joined as always with my co-host. We call him the motion sick minister. It is Alexander Mills.
Hello, hello.
Why are these posts only good for summer, Alex?
I don't know.
Got him. My thought was, we're going to go through this list. And these 15 posts, for which we will have examples linked in the show notes from real churches. These are like bangers that have come across my feed because everyone liked them.
I saw you comment on one of them.
Well, it was so good. I wanted that church to know you've done well. So much of them are showing off church life. And we're Canadian. We're recording this in late spring. And the church campus people that you're showing in these videos, everyone just looks happy and brighter.
They look alive, frankly.
When you're not extremely pale and wearing like a ton of heavy winter clothing.
Some of them are best to be shot outside too, so you're right. Anyone north of the 49th, for sure, you've got in some cases, a window here of opportunity to film these posts.
Yeah. Now, it's not a hard and fast rule if you're listening to this and it's October and you're like, well, guess I can't. A lot of these are indoor only and you could absolutely repurpose them. So we've got 15. We're going to go through each. We have them linked in the show notes so you can see them. We're going to do our best for those listening to describe each post. Most of them are pretty easy to dictate and you should understand the gist of what we're trying to accomplish here. And then for those watching on YouTube, we're going to have the visuals on screen while we describe them. We're not going to include the audio because most of these posts just have backing, like trending sounds. And then also it just might become a copyright issue. And we don't want any ads for you. This is an ad-free program.
That's right.
Unless, of course, you don't have YouTube Premium. No, we don't put ads in. Can YouTube put ads in if we don't choose?
I think they probably do. Yeah, it's rude.
Wait, so we should just be getting that money instead? I turn off
instead of them.
I turn off ads because I'm like, I would never do that to my audience. And then YouTube's like, well, you're not going to, I'm going to. All right, number one. The premise of this video is you have a small person in your church and you take a GoPro and using a chest mount, you attach it to this small person, and the caption will read on screen, POV, Sunday, but it's kids ministry. And basically, the camera shows this like wobbling camera as the small human walks up into the church building, and they walk up to check into kids ministry, and then they go into the kids ministry department. I will say, they've done a very good job with this edit of showing virtually no kids' faces from the front profile. I think that's like the one concern people have. Like, oh, I don't want to show off like faces that are not allowed. If you're recording the whole time, I think that you'd be able to stitch together a nice compilation of content that doesn't include people's faces.
I would say the strength of this post in particular, and it doesn't have to be this way, but the way that this church edited it and chopped it up and posted it, the strength of this post was the audio from the camera that they included in the post itself.
After I just said it wasn't important.
Well, I mean, like, I think this post would be strong if there is no audio, and I think I'm going to give it a run this Sunday, and I probably won't include the audio, so we'll kind of see how it turns out. But this is like, it sounds like maybe a 4-year-old. I've got a 4-year-old, so maybe like 4 or 5-year-old kid. And some of the conversation is like, it's very funny.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the strength of this post in particular, was the way they chopped up the audio, but it's not necessary for this post to work. What is necessary is to take like a Gravol before watching this post if you're prone to motion sickness.
Motion sick minister.
It's crazy. So we call that one the kids POV. The next one we're calling the blown away promo. And so this is a promo for a worship night or VBS, whatever your church is promoting. And the premise of the post is simple. Grab a piece of paper or a little letterboard or something and promote your ministry. For this one, it's a worship night on Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Wow.
But this one is filmed in slow motion. And what seems to be happening here is they've got a leaf blower or some high-powered wind machine behind the camera. And the prompt to open this video is blow on your screen in 3, 2, 1. And if the user blows on the screen, the hair of all these folks who are holding this worship night promo is, like I said, this looks like it's shot in like at least 120 frames. It's blowing back in slow motion. This post is ridiculous. I would be a good subject for this post if I had the courage to take my hair down. This post is hilarious. It is impossible not to share, which for a promotional post, especially in your church community, works really well. This is the kind of, if you're going to promote something, this is the post you want your church people to share, because you want people to know about your worship night on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. So this is the blown away promo. Do you think slow motion is necessary for this video?
I do, because it needs to be the glamour.
Right.
Right. And most phones can shoot in slow motion now.
An iPhone could shoot up to 240.
Exactly. So this doesn't need to be, I'm going to break out the red camera with, high frame rates or whatever it is. Next up, we have the press this button post. And the idea here is that you start your post with a video recording of your church's lobby empty with the caption on screen, "Something's missing." You then angle the camera to a piece of paper that is taped onto the wall, which is just a picture of a big red button, and it says, "Press this button for Sunday service." So you just like slap your hand against the piece of paper, the red button. You then angle the camera back to the lobby, and it's full of people because it is now Sunday morning. Easy, doesn't have to be summer, and it's a winner.
It is a winner. I think this one wins in particular because they've executed the whip transition really well. Can you explain really briefly to the folks listening or watching how to accomplish that whip transition in camera, like in phone?
Yeah, so they've made the transition on the whip to the piece of paper. So what happens is you have your phone and you're holding it facing the lobby, and then really quickly you whip it as fast as you can to now be facing. Basically, this is a 90-degree turn facing the piece of paper taped on the wall. You then stop recording.
Cut it,
And then when it's actually Sunday morning and the lobby is full, you replicate the exact same movement. And then what happens is you can cut each of those clips during the whip. It's so blurred that you can stitch those together with a 5 to 10% transition. And what'll happen is it's like almost imperceivable that you've whipped it.
Yeah.
And what happens is it looks like in 1 second the entire lobby is replaced with 100 people before it was empty.
Yeah, and that in-camera transition is so strong in particular because if you didn't do an in-camera transition and you added like a cross dissolve, the effect would be lost a little bit. So to do it in camera, a lot of folks who've never done a whip transition like that perceive that to be magic. They're like, I don't know how they did that. But it is really easy to accomplish in camera by simply repeating that motion. Maybe put a mark on the floor so that you're standing in the same spot when you film this video.
Good point.
Because you have to shoot it twice. But you can chop that up in camera and do it really effectively. The next post, we have a name for it. We are calling it, which I've now lost, of course, the when you and your best friend serve on different teams.
Okay.
This one has... Do you think it's necessary to have the trending audio for this post, the Vanessa Carlton 1,000 Miles song?
I do.
Okay.
I think that song is necessary at all times.
That's true. This song's very nostalgic for people our age. So when I watch this video,
Millennials stand up.
Yeah. So this post does need this trending sound. We're not going to play it on the show so that our video doesn't get taken down.
There you go.
But you can, if you click the link and open this video in your Instagram account, you can save the audio to reuse. And this is just a fun little video. And the text on the screen is when you and your best friend serve on different teams. And it's somebody on stage, somebody in production, somebody in youth ministry, whatever. You've got two folks and they're looking at each other, lip syncing the song to each other. Do 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 do. And I miss you. Do 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 do. And I need you. And that's it. And it's funny and it's shareable and it's sweet and it's really easy to pull this post off. So if you're not doing the kids POV one this weekend like I am, give this one a shot.
And what you can also do is you can match the framing with the momentum of the music. So you can start like, the idea would be Alex is on stage and I'm in row 17 of the church. So Alex is on stage and he's looking at me, but I'm filming him from my vantage point. So I'm like pretty far away. So I'm filming him with my phone and it's da-da-da-da-da-da. And then when he goes to I miss you, that's when I pinch and like zoom in.
Right.
And so you're like, what am I looking at? And then you see him lip syncing.
Longing for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we reverse it and it goes the other direction.
Yeah.
And maybe if there is like some type of like, will they or won't they type of relationship that everyone's shipping, but hey, it's like not official just yet.
It's all church inside joke.
We need 2 people. Alex and Rebecca. Yeah, you guys are here anyway. Come on out. But everyone knows what's really going on.
Hey, that could be the story in 10 years when someone asks, how'd you meet, or how did you know?
Right?
They go back and tell that story like, hey, we were part of this video at church.
Families are getting started. We're creating humans via social media
Not
post
then
ideas.
and there, later on in life.
Right, but like, when they say like, it's a Love is Blind baby. Well, no.
Yes.
But also.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one. This is called Whisper in the Crowd. So this is a fun one.
This one's awesome.
Again, a great way to promote something.
Yes.
Right? Like we're giving you good promotional ideas that are so entertaining on their own that people aren't mad they're seeing a promotion.
Right.
Because that's the reality of promotions, right? The reason we tell churches not to do them on social is because no algorithm wants to push promotions.
Right.
Unless the promotion is secondary. If the first and most important part is that this is a hilarious post, then the secondary promotion is not going to inhibit its distribution. Think about this in the context of comedians. At the end of like a comedian's, like what they'll do is they'll take like a 30 to 90 second like portion of one of their sets and they'll show it to you. And then what happens at the end? Here are my tour dates.
Yeah.
That's a promotional post, but you don't get upset when you see the tour dates because it happens for a few seconds.
And you don't hesitate to share it either because it was a funny video.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So I want you to imagine pastor's preaching and there's a camera pointing at the crowd, the congregation listening. So everyone's silent. And the camera is on like the side of the sanctuary. But you hear the audio, psst, hey, psst. And you're like searching around with the camera. Everyone's just looking at the preacher until you find a guy who like 4 rows deep is looking right at the camera with a tiny mic in his hand. He's like, hey, yeah, you. Worship night, 7 p.m. coming up this Wednesday. And then he like does his little promotion.
And it's very clear they're filming this like in an actual, like in the midst of an actual church service. This is not a put on skit. This is like somebody's actually preaching about the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but the pastor was surely the one that was like, we need to do more announcements about this event. Okay. Hear me out then.
The camera work in this post is actually really strong. You should be watching this. If you're a podcast listener, this is one you should watch on YouTube to see these posts. If you're not going to click through the podcast description, the camera work here is really strong because at first it's like, wait, who actually is talking? And it's the strength of the camera work that hides the guy there with the tiny mic until they
right. You need to
reveal.
search a little bit at the beginning. It's a zoom lens. They're like zooming in. No, not that person. Zoom back out. Zoom in. Oh, there this person is. Like, very good.
Okay, this next one we're calling the paper and camera prompt. And it's really simple post. You put a camera in this. I love this one in particular because they're using an iPhone. Again, so many of these posts, if not all of them, can be really well executed using the phone that's in your pocket. And so they've got the iPhone on a tripod, and in front of the iPhone, they've got a white piece of paper written with Sharpie. Show us how excited you are for youth. And they've locked the tripod off. It seems like they're on, like in the parking lot outside of church. It's
at sunset.
It's,
on a clear day.
It's
and
beautiful.
Is that a 0.5 lens? Because
It's filmed at 0.5, and presumably they just locked it off there for 15, maybe 30 minutes rolling. Yep. And the young adults who've come for youth are seeing this prompt and they're acting ridiculous in front of the camera. Some of the young boys full of testosterone are screaming. Some of the girls do some dancing. One of the top comments was in caps lock, I have FOMO right now, which is shorthand for fear of missing out. And that's what this post inspires. It shows not just the environment for youth, which is like made me have FOMO because it's a beautiful sunset, like presumably near a beach. Like the vibes are just great. But it shows off kind of the spirit of the youth event and how people feel about the youth event that they've attended.
Wow.
And this post does such a great job of showing the actual sentiment of what it's like to attend whatever it is you're trying to promote. In this case, it's youth.
What do we say to churches? Don't do an announcement and then say, don't miss it. Mm-hmm. What we also say is show, don't tell.
Yeah.
So if you listen to my advice when I say, please don't use the phrase, don't miss it, and you say, but I really want to.
I really don't want people to miss it.
Then show, don't tell.
Yes.
Don't verbally say don't miss it. Create a post like this where the number one comment is, I really don't want to miss this.
Yes.
Success.
And then pin that comment. Let somebody else say it.
Hey, I didn't say it. They said it. All right. This next post is finding out if it's youth on Friday. So I think everyone's familiar with this type of post archetype. It's the young person sitting at their laptop waiting for like results to be shown. Mm-hmm. You see the back of the laptop, and huddled around this person like is their family. And the classic version of this post is them finding out if they were admitted to college or not, right? So like the caption would start like, finding out I got into Harvard. And it's just them like tense look on their face, person seated at a desk, looking at the laptop, everyone's standing huddled around them. And then they click the button and then they go, oh my gosh, yes I was. And everyone's celebrating. Except the prompt is finding out if there's youth this Friday. And you wait and there's this anticipation and the moment builds. And then until finally it's revealed there is youth. The woman who's seated there is crying, hands in her face, bawling. Everyone's jumping around being like, yes, it's celebrating. Easy, winner.
The way this post ended made me laugh out loud because they're youth, right? And they're just classic teenagers. There is a boy who
he just yeets.
Launches himself across the table where this laptop is seated, and they've edited it perfectly. It cuts out just as he's falling off the table, and all the top comments are like, has anyone checked on that laptop? Like, did the laptop survive?
Right, the table has clearly been overturned.
Yeah, it's so good.
The laptop has been yeeted.
All right, this next post is called, What's Your Vision for This Room? And this is actually pretty similar to like the red button post, the second post we mentioned, which is like kind of a before and after shot. And so the scene here, there's like no editing to this post at all. There's no whip transition. You could if you wanted to, but the scene is an empty sanctuary. And the text on the screen says, what's your vision for this room? And then the next clip is a scene of a full sanctuary. And the text says, to fill it. And so you could do this in any one of your rooms at church. Sanctuary obviously is an automatic. You could do this in kids. It might be a little bit more challenging if you've got photo release forms or whatever. Maybe you could, when you do to fill it, you could be shooting from the back of all their kids' heads during a lesson or something like that. Maybe you have a cafe before and after. What's your vision for this room? To fill it. And you've got a scene in the second clip, a scene of a full pre-service cafe. And so you could do this not once, not twice, maybe 3 times. You could repeat this post once a month for the different rooms in your space.
Do it for like a food drive or you're packing shoe boxes. Like what's our, like, you know, any type of thing where you're getting people to contribute things. Start with the empty, show the full.
Yeah, so good. Great post archetype that you should repeat in this sense, but you could repurpose in other senses as well.
Okay, here's a post you never want to repeat, but you should do once for sure. So this post is called What Not to Do During a Church Service. There are only 2 video clips stitched together here. The first is a woman sitting in what appears to be an empty sanctuary. Mm-hmm. So she's in like the third from the back row. And above her is the text, What Not to Do During a Worship Service. And you're meant to think, oh, this is like recorded on a night where church is not happening. She's pointing above her as like, hey, look, what not to do during a church service. The second clip turns around. Her hands are in the same place from like the behind shot, but you can't see like any text prompt above her.
Yeah.
It reveals that the church was not empty. Yes. This is the middle of a church service. Everyone in the front like 5 rows is turning back looking at her.
What are you doing?
This has 57,000 likes. Like this is just hilarious and fun.
Yeah.
I also think it's funny because it's a young person who's like, what not to do during church. Everyone looking back at her are all aunties in the church that are like, what is this young youth doing?
Yeah, you really can only do that post once. And I wonder if that, you know, we call these like church skits, like this style of post. And sometimes when you come across a skit like this on social, like you've seen it before, it's a viral skit, and so many churches are doing it at once. This one had me curious. Like, I wonder if this is original to this church, if they came up with this on their own, because I had never seen this one before.
Shouts to Love Zion Baptist Church. Their handle is Love Zion Philly, like Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. All of these posts will be linked in the show notes, so you can go and see the creators and see them on your own Instagram feed. Just want to shout out this church because I clicked on their Instagram feed. They're currently running a sermon series called Baddies of the Bible.
That's crazy.
Which might be goated.
That's crazy. Moving on, this next one's called Sorry, I Have Plans. And again, very simple post archetype, and you can repeat this one. The first clip, it's just... it's It's kind of like a stock clip of something happening at church, and the text says, quote, "Sorry, I have plans." It lasts for about 2 seconds on the screen. And then the clips that follow, I'm not really sure how many there are in this video, maybe 10 clips that follow. You could do 5, 10, 15, 20. It's a supercut, changing every second or so. And the text switches to the plans, and it's just scenes from around church. This one's predominantly youth-centered because this comes from a youth account. We are Amplified Youth. So it's just showing off youth night. And so you could use this post archetype for Sunday service. You could use it for a youth night, of course. You could use it for your men's ministry or your women's ministry. Sorry, I have plans, and then cut to a supercut with clips from the plans.
Similarly, our next post here is called "I Give Up Going to Church." If you've ever seen the videos of tennis players signing cameras, or any athlete who will go up like with a Sharpie and then write something on a camera and realize, okay, this camera is like mirrored, so I have to like write it backwards.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Basically, you have on the screen 2 lines of text. Line 1 says, "I give up." Line 2 says, "Going to church." So it reads, "I give up going to church." A person then walks up, and I've seen this a couple different ways. This one walks up, and with a Sharpie, she takes her pen, her marker, and just dots on the screen to basically create a period.
Yeah.
Now, she doesn't actually touch the screen with her Sharpie. She like taps right where the period would go, and then in post, you just add the period.
Yeah.
So now the 2 lines read, "I give up going to church."
Yeah.
And it's a fun little swerve. You don't expect like on church content to see that, and then you realize, how a simple like reframing of something can change the message dramatically. Do want to shout out this church's handle. It is an acronym. It is SPCBCKNY.
Okay.
So shouts to St. Paul Baptist Community Church in Brooklyn, New York.
All right. Shout out.
SPCBCBKNY. Now, as we said on a previous episode, thankfully, handles on Instagram no longer matter on social whatsoever. So this church would be able to be found irrespective of their insane acronym.
Yeah.
I am going to visit their website here briefly. Thankfully, their website is spcbc.com. Now,
Better.
that's still,
That's a lot of
we could
letters.
make, you have a .com. I feel like we can make some changes, but you do you.
Okay, this next one is called POV. You're late to service, but your favorite praise song is playing. I love this one. It requires slow motion again, but you can accomplish this on your phone. This one looks to me like it was filmed on a phone in 0.5, so that wide angle. And all it is somebody running through the lobby, basically, seemingly in a hurry, in slow motion. They are gently pushing people out of the way. At one point, he grabs a child and throws the child to their caretaker. And what you're going to want to do here is put a popular, praise and worship song behind this video. To take this one step further, I would not just take one willy-nilly off the charts. I would find a song that your church actually is currently singing and very much enjoying, just to kind of elevate the local meaning and the resonance with your church. But super simple to accomplish here. It's just one slow-mo shot of somebody running through the crowd. Put that text over the video and layer it on top of a popular worship song, but one that your church is currently loving.
All right, this next one, we're just calling it "He Won't." This is the Cody Carnes song, "Firm Foundation." My God will never fail. He won't.
Yeah.
So that's the sound that's playing behind.
Necessary for this video.
This one's necessary. So the prompt is when pastor says he'll finish his sermon in 30 minutes. And they basically go one by one through people on the worship team, and they're just like, setting up their keyboard or on their drum kit, and then right when the song says he won't, they look at the camera and go, he won't, and they shake their head. I think this type of self-deprecation and this humor is really funny, really great, and it doesn't have to be when, maybe your pastor doesn't go long. Maybe it's like when pastor says he won't use, and then insert like the phrase he always uses from stage.
Right.
Or like maybe it's something endearing that the pastor does.
Yeah.
When pastor says he won't, and then insert endearing thing that everybody notices like that he does or she does all the time. Easy archetype that you can fill in and make it personal to you.
Totally. Okay, we got 2 more. Second to last one is simply called Recharge. The first clip is somebody sitting down for church. And there's an icon of a battery overlaid, and it's down at 1%. And then after that clip, again, that clip is only on the screen for about 2 seconds. After that clip is like a real supercut. You're flashing to clips of church life, mostly in the sanctuary there, at about 0.2, 0.3 seconds each. And as the video progresses, the battery is going up from 1% all the way up to 100%. And so it's basically saying like, hey, when you come to church depleted, this is the stuff that like recharges your spirit. I do have a caveat here, and I have a question for you, Braid. Up to this point, this is video 14 of 15. Up to this point, every video we have talked about, you have been able to accomplish like in phone, basically. You can shoot it all on your phone, even the slow motion ones, edit in phone. This one seems to be an outlier because we've got this battery icon going up from 1% to 100%. If a church wanted to pull this off, how would you recommend tackling that icon overlay there?
My sense is it's probably just a CapCut template. So you could probably get it for free via CapCut or explore Instagram's new Edits app. I'm pretty confident that this was done in phone. Even if it wasn't, any template site would have something similar.
Right.
You could also do it via a series of graphics. You could use a tool like iconfinder.com.
Yeah.
And instead of having it go, this one kind of like really smoothly goes from 0 up to 100. You could do it where like the bar is slowly increasing. So let's say you found a free graphic on iconfinder.com or any of these sites. You just searched like battery charge and it showed a battery and there were like 4 charge dashes within the actual cell of the battery. You could bring that into Photoshop and you could just like delete the first 3, save it, delete the first 2, save it, delete 1, save it. And you'd have 4 different versions. And then you could just show them as 4 images stacked. So it starts with 1 cell of battery, 2 cell, 3 cell, 4 cell. So it doesn't need to be done in like this actual like video vector that got brought into post. It could be done in a more lo-fi way and you'd accomplish the same effect.
Love it.
Okay, last one. The last one might be my favorite. This one is good on its own. This church made it chaotic in the best way. So we've all seen those videos of the school recruitment decision videos. So usually these are college football. Guys deciding, am I going to commit to Ole Miss or UCLA or Alabama? Forgive me, maybe you would never choose between those 3 schools. I'm Canadian. We don't have that.
Alabama seems like the one you would choose.
Okay, sure.
That's Nick Saban, right?
I think he's gone.
Well,
people are screaming at their cars right now. Let's move on. So what happens is like you have like 3 hats in front of you.
Like actual hats.
Yes, actual like ball caps. And that's the way you decide. It's like this summer or this school year, I have decided to commit to Ole Miss. Oh my goodness, who would have thought? Not Alabama. And then you put the hat on.
Yeah.
So this church has set it up where they have 4 hats. And the idea is this person is committing to where they're going to serve at church. So there are 4 hats. It's like worship, kids, welcome. And the person says, I'm going to be taking my talents and I'm going to be joining the welcome team.
Of course, the easiest team to join.
So that's like the fun way of doing this.
Yes.
What becomes clear as the video progresses for this church is that this individual, I think, already serves elsewhere. And so what happens is she puts on the welcome hat and the camera pans to a cameraman holding what looks like a $40,000 broadcast camera with a full headset on.
Yeah.
This man drops the camera in an extremely violent fashion and walks out of the room in disgust because this woman did not choose to volunteer on the production team. I don't know if this camera is a prop or an old camera.
It sounds like it hits the ground pretty hard.
Yeah, like I don't know if they added the sound afterwards. There could be a guy like catching it outside a frame. Maybe they dropped it on like a bunch of padding, but like he doesn't drop it. He kind of throws it to the ground. So, and then it cuts to another woman on the other side of the frame who like starts yelling at the smiling recruit who has committed. And she grabs a hat because clearly her team wasn't chosen. Yeah. So really, really fun. And you can this just shows you that these archetypes and templates can be used foundationally, and then you can build upon them in ways that are personal. I mean, forget about church budget. Maybe you want to trash a $20,000 camera for one social post. Who's to say that that's not the ideal ROI? Let's say your church has a 5 to 10 to 20% volunteer rate. Maybe this is just such a powerful post that increases to 80%. Depending on the size of your church, what dollar value would you put on a 4 to 10x increase in volunteers?
It's priceless.
Wow.
Top comments. Bro was not slow to anger. Next top comment. Kids' church workers were so busy they couldn't even attend the press conference. And then the pinned comment from Highest Praise Church, which is the church that posted this, that said, yes, the camera is fake. This was all in good fun. We respect our equipment and our team members.
Okay, well, just forget everything I just said. Make sure to check out all of these creators, all of these examples linked in the show notes for both pod and YouTube subscribers, listeners, viewers. Thanks as always for your time, attention, and trust, and we will talk to you next week. So I went to the candy cupboard and I pulled a Monica Shearer. I just got like 140 calories of gummy Skittles and just like ate them in shame and privacy, and then just got enough energy to like make dinner for everyone, which I then did not eat. But
Consider seeing a doctor.